It is Tuesday, April the 16th. Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan and thank you for joining us as we take a look at New Zealand's weather, but also at the end of this, we've got the next 7 days weather for the South Pacific. Let's get into the forecast showing New Zealand and the South Pacific, some low pressure up here, mostly around the Solomon Islands at the moment, and there is a system that's forming over this coming weekend, and we'll talk about that in a moment. First of all, though, in the New Zealand area, high pressure coming out of the Australia region. Another big high is down here. This is a big belt of high pressure that's going to affect New Zealand's weather for the next few days. Westerly winds are the main feature for most places, but as we said yesterday, some of you will have an easterly or a nor'easter just here and there, but the overall airflow into the country is coming out of the Southern Ocean and South Tasman Sea areas. So let's have a look at what is going on with the cloud and the wet weather. Not a lot of wet weather around. As you see here tonight, there is some wet weather on the west coast, a little bit down here around Southland, high pressure centred up here to the north. Over the next 48 hours, you can see the high tracks along and stays pretty much to the north of the country. It does drag in a few showers. Sometimes, often, people think that high pressure means sunny, beautiful weather. But at this time of the year, once the nights are longer than the days, sometimes anticyclonic gloom or just a few showers can get caught up in it. It won't be very much, but you can see a few showers dotted around the country and westerly winds carrying on there, and a cooler southerly coming in for Tasmania. So let's have a look at the precipitation for the next 48 hours. And as you can see, more showers coming in across the country. The blue, the green, the yellow, bottom of the scale here, start of the scale. So just a few showers around, mostly on the western side of the country, or at least of the North Island, fairly dry for the east here. And it's actually a similar story pretty much around the South Island. Could be a few showers popping up around Marlborough, but most of it's down here around Fiordland, Westland, and right up to about Greymouth getting some of that wet weather. All right, Wednesday. Just a few showers, as we've just mentioned. So there is the high, or the two different highs, one to the north, the other one out here over Australia. Showers carry on with those southwesterly winds. It's not overly wet, but some of you will get a few showers across your Wednesday. Thursday, the high is just to the north of Cape Reinga. That drives in a northwesterly wind for some areas, so temperatures go up a wee bit, especially over here in the east. The actual direction where you live may still be a sou'wester, but it's more so coming out from the north, so the airflow should just warm up a little bit and the westerly winds carry on for the lower South Island. On Friday, the next cold front comes into the lower South Island, and like the one we've got today, Tuesday, not a lot of energy with it, but the temperatures do drop again and a little bit of wet weather comes through. In fact, there could be a little dusting of snow up on the mountains. And at the other end of the country, it is subtropical. If you look at these winds up here, right over the top of Norfolk Island and straight down over New Zealand's North Island with, yes, low pressure forming out there in the Tasman Sea. So on Saturday, this is the current thinking. I think I said yesterday, this might still move around a little bit. This is a funny little system kind of trapped between one high up here and the other high coming out of Tasmania. So it's got a bit of a window in here to grow and slowly move along. Subtropical winds, so it'll be mild on Saturday with those northerlies around, and a wee bit of wet weather may still come back into the upper South Island. By Sunday though, this big high, powerful one, parked right over the top of Adelaide, like a bulldozer, just pushing out into the New Zealand area, and it nudges that low away. But what's this? It's another low up here to the north. So this next system may track past New Zealand. At this stage, it is looking like it will be offshore. So let's have a look now at the next 7 days in the South Pacific. We'll just animate that. So kicking off with today, Tuesday, and what you'll notice is a lot of westerly winds blowing through there over the coming days and the usual showers. But around the Coral Sea, up over here, and further to the east, you'll see some low pressure forming this weekend. And around Monday of next week, it drops to the south of Tonga and Fiji, and does deepen as it moves down past the New Zealand area. So this is worth keeping an eye on if you're out on your boats, yachts, whatever you're on in the South Pacific. There is this system here tracking through, and by the end of Tuesday next week, or that'll be Monday for some of you over on this side of the international dateline, that storm system tracking to the south. New Zealand doesn't look like it will hit New Zealand, but it's worth keeping an eye on as well if you're in that area. And rainfall for the next 7 days, let's just make sense of it all. This is what you're seeing. So that low pressure zone, you can see it quite clearly tracking along here with the heavy rain. Most of the main populated places not looking too wet, but Fiji, parts of Vanuatu and Samoa, certainly around that low pressure zone, might see a bit of wet weather in that sort of 50 to 100 millimetre mark. And a similar story northeast of Tahiti around French Polynesia. There are some heavy areas of rain there, but pretty dry, or fairly dry at least, through this group. That is all from me for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.